I'm not coach right now. I'm your conscience. You're in a fight between will and skill. I say will first because that's where you are. You locked and loaded with skill. You practicing every day. You putting in your work. You buying everything. You making an investment. You living your dream. You walking like your dream. You're surrounding yourself around your dream. You got mentors, everything. You putting your work in. You got your skill. Now it's a test of your will. It's a mindset thing you in right now. It's a mindset thing because your challenge ain't moving. Your mountain is not moving. You don't feel like you're making any progress. You're not physically moving. When you see everything else around you and other people around you moving, you're not making progress. You're in the test of your will right now because life says it has a little more test for you. It's no different because we've messed up, because you fell off the wagon, you've been on alcohol and drugs, and you gave up on life, or you dropped out, or you've been to jail 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and you really want your dream to happen, and you're putting in your work, and nothing's happening yet.
Every transformation always gets worse before it gets better. It's supposed to be that way. When you embark this journey, you must know that it's going to go down before it comes up. But when it comes up, it's going to go so much higher than you've ever been.
The action of making progress is progress. The push itself, the fight, you get up and swing and miss, that's progress. You get up and you run at what you want with everything you got and you miss, that's progress. The effort of making the attempt is progress. It must happen. It can't do anything but move. You can do anything but make progress. You pushing and you're pushing and you're pushing and you're pushing and you're doing everything right. You're tired, you're exhausted, and ain't nothing happening yet. That word is what you're waiting for. Yet. Because I promise you, if you keep pushing, if you keep giving me all your effort, it will happen.
Welcome to the Conquer Life podcast, hosted by the coolest dynamic duo husband and wife team since Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv, Corey and Topanga, and even George and Weezy. Bringing you life experience, knowledge, wisdom, and insight to help you in your own life journey. This is the Conquer Life podcast with Trey and Autumn Hollis. In episode 18, we're talking about internal motivation versus external motivation. Episode 18. Wow, we're making strides.
Really, at 18?
Yeah, I can barely hear you. You have to speak into the microphone.
Your big head's in the way.
Ooh, burn.
That's
okay.
What happens when you get up to 18.
Okay.
Legal.
All right. All right. So, episode 18, you just, hopefully you went back and you listened to episode 17, the lesson from Spartacus. And you've learned that nothing is impossible if you put your heart and soul into it. And in episode 18, we're going to jump into this whole issue of motivation. You'll hear about motivational speakers and motivation as far as like videos on YouTube, which that was the opening clip. And the link is in the show notes for the full version of that. Here's the thing, though, about motivation. Motivation is tricky because, see, motivation is a warm and fuzzy feeling.
You think so?
Yeah.
Not always.
Why not?
What? Not for me, not always. Sometimes, it just depends on what type of motivation that you're using. For me, if I'm pushing myself to do something, then oftentimes I talk to myself like a drill sergeant.
Uh-huh.
And so that person who's talking to me in my head is not being so nice.
Ah. So you're jumping straight into the issue of this episode, which is internal motivation versus external motivation. So you're talking about internal motivation.
Yes.
Okay. Now, with external motivation, see, external motivation is like the Friday pep rally at every high school USA.
Cheerleaders, the whole nine.
The whole nine. And motivation, and that's why I say it's tricky, because see, motivation, if you go to a motivational speaking engagement, you can get extremely hyped up on your dreams, on your ambitions, on your goals. But the thing is, how does that motivation carry over? There's a quote from Zig Ziglar. Here we go with I need to make a whole clip of these paraphrases that I do. But here goes a good paraphrase.
That's not what he said.
Motivation is like, no, wait.
See?
Motivation is like bathing. It can wear off. That's why we recommend it daily. That's close to what he said.
Yeah, that was actually pretty close.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
So the thing is with motivation is this. You're going to experience those times where you get really hyped up on what it is that you want to do, and you're going to get motivated from some external source. You understand? And that external source, whether it's a video from YouTube, whether it's even us through the podcast or through our website or whatever it may be, through your mentor, through education, you're going to get hyped up. Okay? And the thing is, you have to internalize that motivation, or else it does not carry over.
Yeah, because I'm just sitting here thinking, both are extremely important, whether it's you're just looking at internal motivation or external motivation, because they can feed each other at different times. But I think the core of getting you from point A to point B or point A to point Z is having a really good sense of intrinsic motivation. You need to be aware of why you're doing what you're doing, and to be able to use a lot of self-talk or focus on pushing yourself to go where you need to go, or to do the things that you need to do. Because you can be in a rally to where they are filling you with all the words and you get all that hype, and that's good if you need to get your engine starting to go. But after that falls down, what is going to be in you to continue that, especially when there's not any motivation around that's external? You have to draw it from somewhere. So it has to be instilled in the root of you to go and push where everything else is silent.
Yeah, that's 100% right. Hype is not bad. I mean, that's the whole point. Like what we referenced, with a pep rally. It's pep. It's to get you going. It's to get that engine started within you so that you can take off from that point. Okay? But like I said, you have to internalize that motivation to create, as Dennis Giannetti, one of my mentors, has said, momentum. And you have to create that momentum within yourself to push through the obstacles or the tough times, whatever comes against you, or what is blocking you from your goal. And sometimes that's not an easy thing. And a lot of times people get internal motivation and external motivation mixed up, or they actually don't even understand that they're riding a high of external motivation when it's the internal motivation that they should truly seek.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you with that, because, you know, again, you get on that external view to where it gets you hyped up, so after that comes down, you don't know where to go. And that can be a big struggle. I know, for me, I love the gym. And prior to having this last baby, I was always in the gym, 5-6 days a week, constantly exercising, because I enjoy it. And I would have my playlist ready, and that was certain songs that I had to get me amped up. There would be often times where I would be sitting there and I would be talking to myself. It would be self-talk to, you know what, keep on pushing, where I felt like I couldn't go anymore. 5 more, 2 more, 2 more. Don't give up. And I would call myself, don't be a punk. You ain't a punk. Come on, you're being a punk. I mean, seriously. Okay. These are the things going on in my head. But it was like, it was because I knew internally what would trigger myself to, I'm not that. So I had to even push, even when I thought physically I couldn't anymore. And it was just because of what I wanted was so ingrained that when the music wasn't working at a certain point, that internal self-talk had to override it to take me a little bit further.
And see, and that's to use one of my own phrases, that is a magnificent point.
You think so?
It absolutely is. I mean, okay, let's be 100 right now. I'm yawning. You've probably seen me. I've yawned a couple of times. Not because of boredom, no. I'm yawning because I'm tired. I'm tired. When, at the time of recording this, it's late. We've sent the kids to bed, and we are pushing through to get this done because we have a mission to fulfill. And I have to use internal motivation, excuse me, that positive self-talk, that positive self-reinforcement, just as you mentioned, to push me through and to keep me going. Like, hey, we have something that we have to deliver. We have to deliver this message to people because it's important that people understand the difference between hype, which is not bad. Remember, that's a good thing. The hype is the good thing. That's the spark. That's the ignition that gets you going. All right. Now, there's that hype and there's that internal motivation. And it's like a car engine. As I'm thinking about it, because see, you have a starter in your car. And when you turn that ignition, the starter engages and turns your flywheel and gets the rest of the engine going and turning and gets those cylinders firing. Now, as soon as you let off that ignition, the engine is running on its own until you shut it off. Now, the engine is running on its own based upon internal combustion, aka in this case, internal motivation. And we can use that analogy to understand how we have to fire on cylinders internally to keep going, to keep pushing, to keep going through the tough times, through the naysayers, the negative Nellies, the distractions, the squirrels that are going to come along and try to pull you off of your path.
I'm just trying to think of even times to where, just in the setting to where, you're having a rough day, a rough morning or whatnot. Something crazy that I used to do is I would know that I want to be happy and I wanted to, bring my best for the day, but I just wasn't feeling it. And I kid you not, I would go to YouTube at work and that 24 hour of happy, I would play it on a loop because that was my, that was my ignition starter. And then I would just get that going and then I would take it from there. But it had to be that initial spark to get me in that mindset to be able to receive it. Maybe that's why external motivation is so important, because that initial spark that oftentimes we can't create on our own because we need that outward external influence when we're just not feeling it, even though we want to be a certain way. It feeds, it refuels us. Because we may not have the energy to get it jump started, and then once we get it jump started, that's where we actually have to take over the control from external and fuel it inward.
That oh my gosh, that is an excellent point, and you bring the tie-in right there. Now, the name of this episode is Internal Motivation versus External Motivation. But guess what? Autumn just made the tie-in. Why not use them both? Why not bring them together and conjoin them to where they work for you? You're feeling crappy? You're feeling some type of way? You're in a mood? The funk cloud is over your head? About to break rain on you? Your day isn't going too great? No worries. You can stop and say, wait a minute. You can do something like what she just said. That's a great strategy. Go to YouTube. Search for motivational videos. Boom. Click on one of those. Listen to it. Turn your day around. Turn that frown upside down. But seriously, you can flip that and see, and when you get that external motivation, it will feed your internal to keep pushing. People make this complicated. They make this issue more than what it is. It's not difficult. It's only difficult if you make it difficult.
If you don't press play.
Now, if you want to stay in a funk mood, guess what? You're going to stay in a funk mood.
And be all funky.
Yeah.
Not cute.
Yeah.
It's not cute. No, it's not, because I can even go back to days in management, and I would have someone who came in a funky mood, whatever happened to them that specific day, and it's like a virus. It goes from one person to, and it lingers, and it starts affecting everybody around you. And when you understand that negative energy can start spreading to everyone around you versus having positive energy and having that spread, you're a little bit more cautious on wanting to correct that behavior.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest things, is knowing when you're in a funk, I've got to change this because it's not going to only affect me today, but it's going to affect everybody else around me.
We've talked about that too. And that comes back to awareness, self-awareness. That's the foundation of the Conquer Life mindset, self-awareness. You have to review your mood at any given moment. If you find yourself being in a funk cloud, you say, wait, whoa, wait, why do I feel like this? Okay, well, this and this happened, or such and such said this, or, oh, you know, I got this notification, or whatever the case may be. All right, remember that you are in control, and that's where that external and internal motivation comes into play. You are in control. You can say to yourself, no. I'm not going to be upset about this. I'm not going to trip on this right now. No. Hold on. Let me go find my jam.
Woosah.
You know, yeah, you can hit the woosah. You can do whatever it is that you need to do to pull yourself out of that funk. You have the power within you. That's what all of this is about. You have dreams, ambitions, you have things that you want to do. You have the power within you. Now the hype can come along and get you going, but it's up to you to accept that and turn on that internal engine and keep pushing forward. Keep grinding, keep hustling. You don't have to lay down and, woe is me. No, you don't have to do that. You have a choice in your life about what you want to do and about how you want to feel. She got a point brewing.
I do. You were talking too long. I kind of lost it. I got to catch it back again.
My bad.
Actually, I was thinking about, when you're going and maybe you've been internally motivating yourself for so long, or just going through the process because you've been hyped for so long, but you haven't had time to rest and refuel.
Makes sense.
I've often noticed that's even more so when the external motivation is extremely important.
Yeah.
It's reigniting that spark and renewing that energy because you're just being drained.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, I don't think that when we are going down that path into which whatever we're seeking after, we take those breaks when we need to because we're so hyped up, we're so amped up internally that sometimes we just need to turn it off and get it a rest and allow the external to take control a little bit. Again, this is how both of these play into each other. You have internal, you have external. They're both very important. They're both different strategies. They can work together and cohesively when they need to. But it's being willing to adjust to the situation and be aware, when do I need to use which type of motivation and how.
It's I don't want to say that it's tricky because, again, it goes back to, sometimes people overcomplicate it. But you really have to be in tune with yourself. You really do. You really do. Because if you aren't, then you'll lose it. And when I say lose it, meaning, no, not lose your mind and go padded room, but you'll lose it meaning, oh, when did he sneak out here? Okay. You'll lose it. That's our son. He's in a chair and he's playing out here because we record on the patio, for those of you who don't know. You'll lose it meaning you'll lose that self-awareness. If you're not in tune with yourself, you'll lose that self-awareness. And you won't be able to monitor your emotions. You won't be able to monitor your feelings because you've allowed all the external things to affect you. Now, remember there's good external, there's bad external. Again, external motivation, good. External negative thoughts, bad. Someone tells you that you can't do something. Someone tells you that you look like you're depressed. That you're going to start feeling that. And if you are wearing your feelings on your sleeve or your emotions on your sleeve, as they say, I messed up another cliche. If you're wearing your emotions on your sleeve, people can read that. People can pick up on that. And sometimes people will comment on that. And that's where it can, kind of get to you if somebody says something. So you have to always be keen of your own feelings. How are you feeling today? We saw Norbert over there. How you doing?
Thank you, Rasputia.
How you doing? Yeah. But, I mean, that's really what it boils down to. How you doing?
Well, I think here's the tricky part. There's no one size fits all when it comes to this topic. Because,
Agreed.
again, this is where it goes back to self-awareness for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to know yourself well enough to what your trigger points are, what works for you, what doesn't. You might decide and say, hey, I'm a musical person. I can't sit there and listen to motivational speaking or videos.
Yeah,
But
true.
I prefer listening to maybe just upbeat tempos.
Or some specific music artist that you find solace in that can get you going.
Yeah, or if you like to listen to chant music, whatever a case may be, whatever fits you. Yeah. Dong, dong, dong. You have to take the time and figure out what works for you and then run with it.
Yes.
I know with me specifically, if I have to be in a frame of mind of cleaning the house, oftentimes I don't feel like even getting started. But it's like, okay, I have certain music that I want to be able to listen to, and once I get that on, it's boom, 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 there you go, and then I get into my mode and I go. There's other times to where I just need to be quiet and want to try to gather my thoughts and figure out what steps I need to take, and then I'll use something else. It might be prayer. It might be just words of encouragement for reading. There's a slew of different things that I've learned throughout the years for myself that work. But the biggest thing is taking the time to figure out what is there, as well as what is working for me specifically.
And that is key. You have to figure out for yourself what works. But it has to be positive. That's the thing. It has to be positive. I mean, obviously, that's what motivation is about. And so whether or not you feed off of external or internal motivation, remember that external motivation will get you started, but that internal motivation is what keeps you going. That's your why. I mean, you can think about why you're pursuing a certain ambition or mission in life. That's your internal motivation. Whether it's your kids, whether it's your future, whether it's your, to make your parents happy, whatever the case may be, ultimately it has to come down to you, though. Why are you doing it, and what is driving you?
Another thing that I was also just hit me, because oftentimes, even when we have our why, even when we don't feel like doing it, because I'm thinking about external motivation, it can get you hyped up, but when that hype is gone and you still need to keep on pushing, that why is so key. So very key, because emotions are like a roller coaster. They go up, they go down, but are you willing to keep on going even when there is no emotion there? Why? Because of your why.
Yeah. Excellent point. Internal motivation versus external motivation. Ultimately, don't make them face off as opponents, but use them both. as proponents.
Proponent?
Yeah. Positive. You know what I mean.
Highs and lows?
I think we did highs and lows, did we not, for this
No,
episode?
we did episode 17.
Oh,
not
I'm
episode
sorry.
18.
Yeah, because we just recorded that. Okay, I'll kick off. Oh, wow. Okay, highs. I am going to be a guest lecturer to a class. That's pretty cool.
Yes, you are.
I think that's pretty cool. I'll be able to share some experience and knowledge with a undergrad class next week. And that's a good thing, just to give them another perspective of someone else's journey, which would be my own, and how that can fit or tie into their own journey. Just give them another aspect of hope. Your high?
My high. Let's see. Something that I've noticed within the past several weeks that I'm really starting to just get in the groove of is our daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to see some of the influence of us over the past several years, and her taking a very motivational approach to her thinking, as well as even some of the stuff that she's sharing on social media, to where it's like, that's our daughter.
Yeah.
It makes me happy, because it's just
Okay.
yeah.
Damn.
What?
Okay, no, that's awesome. I've picked up on that too. It's funny though that you bring that high, along with the high that I have, because they're both points of motivation.
Yeah.
Just what we just talked about. I mean, I'm going to be presenting external motivation to a class, and you're talking about right now, based upon observation of our daughter, an internal motivation.
Yes. And to be honest with you, it actually even fuels me to go harder, because, this is someone who is around us all the time. And to finally starting to see fruits develop, even without, us saying anything. It's just, it's an awesome thing to witness.
That is.
So just keep your eyes open to those that are around you, because the way you think, the way you process things, the way you act, and the way that you take care of the goals that you have set before you, people are watching. Closest ones to you are watching, and you never know how much that you can motivate them to change their life and change their thought process.
Exactly. That's that positive energy that we must always strive to put forth. My low, I'll be honest, I really don't have a low this week. I mean, well, in this episode, I gave my low the last episode, but I don't have a low.
No.
It's all good.
And even if there was lows that were trying to creep in, I'm not letting anything to be low. Maybe that's
what it is.
Mindset shift. Yeah. It's like,
yeah.
I think of stuff that I'm like, I'm not there yet.
Exactly.
Can't be concerned. So
stay tuned. Episode 19 coming next week. If you're a new listener, you can catch up on the episodes at www.conquerlifemindset.com. We are on iTunes, we are on Stitcher Radio, and we are on TuneIn and SoundCloud. So all of the links are there. Check us out. I mean, we're really, striving to put forth this value for you, for the listeners. And that's our goal, to help you all just by sharing our insight and experience of life that we've gone through to maybe help you in something maybe that you might be stuck in or something that you might need to overcome to get to that next level.
And whatever you choose to use to be able to listen to the podcast, you have a question, you have a comment, share it with us. We'll respond back. Because why? We care.
No, we do, though. We do. We really do.
And if you know anybody else that also could be able to use a message from any of the podcasts that you feel that could be relevant to their lives, sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring.
He always does that every single time I say that phrase, so get used to it.
All right. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Have a
Coming
blessed
up,
week.
Yeah, definitely. Have a blessed week. Coming up next episode 19. You'll just have to tune in.
Because in all honesty, we don't know what it is yet.
Well, I thought you were going to say dun dun dun.
I can. Ready? Dun dun dun. We out?
We out.